you got the flu. My favorite. Oh.
Blessings, blessings. Hey, Ariana.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing well, doing amazing. It's a wonderful day.
I'm more than glad to hear that.
Yes, yes. I brought it so if you wanted, I could share just a little breath with you real quick.
I would love to.
Awesome, awesome. I love to get like just a little, meditation before the conversation.
Right, let's get it.
All right.
What a great greeting.
Listen, thank you for receiving.
Thank you for playing. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel a little high right now.
Off your own supply. I feel it. This sun is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And you joined us today too. You joined us earlier
I
for
did, and I let me tell you, my legs. I loved it. I loved it. I'll be joining way more often. I loved it.
awesome, awesome. What about your legs? What about your legs, did you say?
I very much felt the vibration, and I felt the energy really flowing through. And even I had sat down and meditated after.
Mhm.
And when I had got back up, maybe 25, 30 minutes later, I started walking, and I was like, wow, wow, my legs. Still, it was. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Wow, wow. So what do you feel about it? Like, what about it impacted, like affected your legs so much that maybe other things haven't done lately? What about it? What activated within it?
Within my legs,
Yeah.
I would say, I guess, stored up energy that needed to start flowing more. That may have been blocked up in ways I wasn't aware of.
Okay. Okay. So it brought more awareness to that region. It brought more awareness. So, have you always, I mean, have you practiced Qigong very long? Like, has it been one of your practices or not really?
So, in the past, I've done it a few times, but I've never really been consistent with it. I've been doing more so yoga, but
Mhm.
I mean, we are energy.
Right.
So, being able to circulate that energy, and especially, I know I'm fasting way more often now. So, it's really important to be able to pull in that energy from Mother Gaia, from the sun, and being able to really circulate it to all parts of your temple.
Yeah. Yeah. Increasing that circulation. Yeah, that's definitely the vibration, you know? And it's a lot of, even with the sun, it's a lot of information,
Codes,
you know?
codes.
You processing it. You process. So when it comes to yoga, because yoga is a powerful practice as well, and it's not just all about flexibility, but it's that ability within you. You're awakening a lot of stuff. So where did you find, or where do you feel the differences for you when it comes to yoga and qigong?
I would say yoga puts me in a very meditative state,
Mhm.
and quiets my mind while also really stretching out certain parts of the body. It's more
Mm.
stretching, not all flexibility, but a lot of it is more just flexibility and getting those cranks in your muscles. With the Qigong, I could say it's really more just about circling the energy and, like you said, bringing it up your aura, bringing it back down, showering the inside of yourself with positive energy, and really working with Gaia as well to help, which you could do with yoga as well, but most of the time you're on the mat, so your feet aren't directly on the ground, you're not grounding. So I would say that.
Wow. Awesome illustration. So channeling that energy, bringing it in, breathing it out. And then you got the breath with the movement, the movement and motion, meditation and motion. So, I know that we kind of connected as well. We know we're acquainted with also with Keijan.
Yeah.
So how did you meet Keijan? Like, how long have you known him?
Well, that's actually my boyfriend.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's actually my boyfriend, and that's who I practice Qigong with sometimes because he loves Qigong. So
Okay.
he'll bring me outside to do it with him sometimes.
Shout out. Shout out to the brother. Awesome. Awesome. And he goes by Sky, right?
Sky, how you doing?
Okay, okay. So Kejan, so that's your boyfriend. I didn't even know that was your boyfriend. So how did y'all meet?
Honestly, I could say when I got more serious with my self-improvement and discovering my true inner self, when you change your vibration, you attract certain different experiences into your life. So I would say once I really changed my vibration, I started seeing everything around me switch to the people I was attracting, to what I was even attracted to, food wise, information wise, everything. And we had came in contact through we had hung out one day because he messaged me and we were doing breath work together. And then ever since, like, we just clicked and we just kept hanging out, kept talking, and
Awesome. Awesome. So that was a while back?
yeah.
Okay. So a lot has changed since then. Would you say that you were a different Ariana back then?
100%. I mean, we change every second. We change every day. So we're learning every day, receiving new energy, all that. So we're constantly changing. So 100%, yeah.
Wow. And being a couple, being with him, practicing together, being in that wavelength, being in that energy, what has been some of the developments that you've seen together? Like how you've rise together, how you thrive together, where do you feel like you've arrived together?
I mean, I would say it's very divine because we grow together instead of depending on each other. Because I feel like a lot of times in relationships, people will look at the other person as an attachment, something to identify themselves with, like, you are mine. But it's not so much about that. It's about teaching each other, growing and evolving with each other. And it's honestly really beautiful because when you are in a relationship, there's certain shadow parts and aspects of yourself that will get pulled out that you can't trigger within yourself, but somebody else can. So it really is a big learning and growing self-development moment as individuals, because it's never A against B. It's never us against the problem. It's us against ourselves, because if anything triggers us, that just shows the unhealed wound within. So it's a matter of, why does this trigger me? Why do I feel this way? Why is this bothering me? And it's really just a growing moment. So we really do grow so much together, and doing practices like breath work and fasting together and all these things, it just builds the connection closer because we're getting closer to source.
Right.
So
Right.
the more love you can gain within yourself, the more you're able to give to others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like how you said, Ariana, you said it's not like a possessive, type of nature. It's not like a clingy type of energy or like your mind type of energy. And it's not like you're holding on to that. It's almost like you're free.
Yeah, I value you. I don't want to own you. I don't want to attach to you. I value you. I love and have gratitude for you.
Right. Right. Was that a relationship dynamic that has changed over the years? Like, did it used to be different back then?
I mean, I know me when I was in my lower nature, I found myself in toxic relationships. So I would say this is the first relationship I've been able to really have this dynamic with. In the past, I wasn't really as aware as I was, and I was still indulging in unhealthy eating habits, just not taking care of my mind, body, soul the best. And it really does show you that you can't love somebody unless you love yourself. You have to love yourself unconditionally.
Okay. Okay. That's a big lesson. Unconditional love, not just for someone else, but for yourself.
For all beings, because we really are all one. So loving yourself is loving everybody.
Right. 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 Because even when you talk about, like, when you say when you were in your lower nature, I can think to myself many times when I felt like I was in my lower nature. But how do you describe, like, being in that lower nature? It's almost like we all have a higher or a lower. How do you describe that for you? What did it feel like?
I feel as if when you don't see life for the beauty as it is, you look in other things to fulfill that beauty because we are made in perfection. So you'll start to look to food, you'll start to look to entertainment. The only reason you're looking at entertainment is because you believe your life isn't entertaining enough as it is. You start to indulge in just so many different things, just so many self-destructive habits and ways. And I feel like it's a matter of becoming one with the voice in your head to your ego, because it's never you against your ego. Your ego's trying to protect you and just trying to identify, but there's always, like, you're not the ego, you're not the voice. You're the awareness behind it. So I feel like the difference between lower and higher is that lower is you're stuck defining with the voice of the ego, versus higher, you're aware that you're the awareness behind it. So you know that that's the guidance you listen to.
Wow. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. This is so good. So you're saying that the higher form or the higher nature, it's like you're the knowing that you are aware that you are the awareness.
Yes.
So you are aware that you are the awareness.
Yes.
Woo!
Because you have to realize not every thought is your thought.
Right.
And I would say in your lower nature, you're not aware of how powerful your thoughts really are, nor are you aware of how to control them, because our thoughts are what create our reality. So if you have no control over your thoughts and you think that every single impulsive thought that comes to you is yours, you're going to act on it and it's going to be destructive. So you have to realize, like, your divine self, your higher self, if it's not coming from a place of love, it's not you.
Mm-hmm.
So any voice that's nagging you in negativity or telling you can't do it or stop or wait till the next day or anything, that's not you, because your divine self knows the path. And that's when your intuition really comes to play, because if you're not in tune with your intuition, I would say your intuition is the higher self's voice and your ego could be the lower to a sense. And you have to be able to balance yin and yang, like they really are one. So you have to be able to just make one with it and still show love to your ego, because that's all it really needs.
Okay. Still show love. Still show love. Your ego just wants love. Wow. Wow. This is so, this is amazing because, like you're saying, to be in tune with our intuition, to stay in tune with that. And what you were saying, Ariana, about, like, the thoughts, because there was a post that you just put up. You put up a poll for people, asking people, what do you want to hear about? Like, do you want to hear about ascension guidance or, womb healing, like different things? But then the most voted that was on there was rewiring the brain with negative thoughts. Like, so many people want to know about that. Do you find that interesting?
I do. And I would say truly that was the first step to my healing. And I believe that that might be I'm not going to say the most important, but one of the most important steps to healing, because you have to realize if you feel away currently, if you feel unsatisfied with your life, if you feel depressed, if you're dependent on all these external things, then you have to realize that not everyone else around you is. So it is something within. And I realized that within myself when I was struggling with depression. Like, not everyone around me is having these thoughts. So I had to sit down for a second, and I just hopped on Google and was like, what is depression? Like, my brain must be different than other people's right now. So I literally started researching how to rewire your brain, how to change your brain. And then I really just got deep into it and realized that, okay, all of these thoughts are doing nothing but just sending out a frequency. They're sending out a certain vibration. So if I have negative thoughts, I'm going to attract negative experiences in my life, the laws of the universe. So I realized, okay, I really do have to change my thoughts. But it's not that easy, because you have to also realize, like, why are these thoughts coming up? Where are these thoughts coming from? Because you can't just change overnight. It's a matter of unpacking all the baggage, and you got to stay in that cocoon for a while before you can sprout to be the butterfly. You have to shed those layers. So rewiring your brain, mind is everything. I know, even in fasting, like, everything. If you can control your mind, you can control everything. So I personally feel as if your mind is one of the most important things for you to really learn about.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for shedding light on this. You know, it's a topic that is really misunderstood by so many people when it comes to the mind and the makeup of our our mental matrix, you know, that we find ourselves in. Because I like how you use the example of the butterfly in the cocoon, like the metamorphosis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're going through that stage, the caterpillar, the cocoon, and to the butterfly. So I remember when you were talking about depression, it's interesting. Some people feel it exists, some people feel it doesn't exist. And I remember I saw a post where you illustrated how, what if you're not depressed? You were like, what if you're not depressed? What if you're just unaware of the signals that your soul is attempting to send you? And you said, like, what if you're not depressed? What if, you know, you're just unconsciously living in the same cycles of the negative thoughts? So, yeah, could you touch a little bit more on this depression, you know, and how most people perceive it and how you perceive it differently today?
I would say, with my awareness that I have now, I realize that as hard as it may sound, we are the creators of our reality, and we choose everything. And now I see that I would say depression is just a vibration. Everything is vibration, and we're nothing but energy and vibration down to the core. So anytime you are not vibrating in a place of love, you're out of alignment, and you have to ask yourself, what's going on with me? Let's check in with myself. And I know it's the power of your thought, and I strongly believe that when you don't know the power of your mind, you are kind of in that mental matrix, because if you knew the power of your mind, you knew that you could close your eyes, tap into the cosmos, tap into that infinite energy. There's infinite possibilities, infinite places. Like, so I know that not having that awareness, you do feel stuck. You do feel trapped. And you have the feeling of, I don't want to be here. I don't want to live this life. Not even realizing that you're creating it for yourself, and there's infinite possibilities for you to bring into your experience. So I would say it's just a matter of really being able to sit down with yourself and take time to learn yourself and learn what is my soul trying to tell me, what is my soul trying to call to me, because our natural state of being is unconditional love. There really is nothing but love, and that's why the thing I want to teach the most is love, because I strongly believe that if you have love, you have everything.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. If you really love yourself unconditionally, there's certain things that you're not going to do to yourself. The more you love yourself, the more you want to better yourself. You want to learn about yourself. You want to heal yourself. And along that journey, you're going to learn a lot of things about this world where you're like, wow. And there's decisions that you have to make. But when you really love yourself, you're going to make those decisions. So I know, for example, you could just say with disease, There's not one single disease that's incurable. Like I said, we're made from perfection. We're made naturally in unconditional love. Therefore, when you start to learn about disease, you start to learn, okay, one, it is my mind because my thoughts are making me sick. Two, it's the mucus and the acid overload because this I just learned this kind of recently and this blew my mind, but it is common sense when you think about it, and everyone's common sense is different, but our cells are infinite. We are infinite as energy. So it's only the what holds the cells that get sick and causes our temples to start to deteriorate and to start to wear down. And this is why we transcend so early. Our bodies are gone so early because we're not taking care of them. So like I said, when you really learn to love yourself unconditionally, you have that mindset of I can't eat these foods anymore. I can't use these products anymore. I can't think these thoughts. I can't be around these people. I can't engage in these habits that are bringing destruction because I love myself too much. So
Right.
cultivating that love for yourself can get you out of any dark hole that you're in, any situation that you're in.
I agree. I agree. This is so important, you know, so such an important message, like self-love, loving yourself. You know, sometimes we hear it a lot today, and sometimes it sounds like a cliche, you know, self-love, love yourself,
Yeah.
you know, but it's important. Like this is really crucial. You know, these essentials. It's like your life depends on it, you know, loving yourself enough. So when you said it's interesting. You didn't say when we die too early. You didn't say like when we pass on too early or when even when we transition too early. You said when we transcend too early. You used the word transcend. So I'm wondering why did you use that word when it came to, you know, someone going into the hereafter, like not being here anymore? Why do you feel like that is a transcendence?
But all goes back to the core. We're energy and vibration at the core, and it's law of physics. Energy cannot die, it can only be transformed. So this is only, I like to call Earth a dream. This is like a very dense area where I believe we all come to learn and build our soul's evolution and lessons. And there's so much more than just this. So the okay, we are not the bodies and we are not the thoughts. We are the awareness behind it. And anyone can agree with that. Anyone can agree with that because you can observe, everyone's observing your thoughts. It's not like you're just like, oh, let me think this. No, they come. They come. You're the awareness behind it. So just knowing that our soul goes on forever. These avatars, these bodies are temporary and they will come to an end. And the more that you don't take care of yourself, the quicker that will happen. But our souls will go on forever. We're going to experience so many other things and this beautiful infinite creation.
Yeah. Endless, endless. You know, you're a limitless being. We are limitless beings. So that is so freeing to know that you're an infinite being. That itself is already freeing. You know, just changing the ways that we're seeing.
It
Yeah.
allows you to get out of the fear mindset as well because fear is the lowest vibration. When you are in fear, you are the easiest to control. So most people go their whole life fearing heaven or hell. Most people get on their deathbed and they're like, I don't want to go to hell. And they're in so much fear, but they don't even realize that heaven or hell is a state of consciousness. You can live in hell or you can live in heaven. It's not a place that you're necessarily going to. So knowing that and knowing you're infinite and knowing you're limitless allows you to really walk through life with so much more peace. And at that, knowing you chose to come here and you chose to have this human experience, why wouldn't it go your way?
Wow.
If
Wow.
you know that you have source within you, you are a fraction of source, you have that power, why would you worry? You are divinely guided at all times.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Finally got it. Just like, what are you worried about? You know, why are you stressed when you know you're so blessed? You
And
know?
stressing is only going to attract more of what you don't want. People spend so much time and energy focusing on all the things that could go wrong, and it's because they want a sense of security. So when and if that situation comes up, you're prepared for it, so it's not that bad, when in reality you're focusing on the all the things that could go wrong when there's all these possibilities of what could go right. Instead of thinking about what could go wrong, let's think about what could go right. Let's prepare for when it goes right. And in reality, there is no right or wrong, because everything is happening in your favor. Everything is happening for a reason and exactly the way it needs to. So if you can carry that mindset through life, nothing has to be good, nothing has to be bad, nothing has to be hard, nothing has to be easy. It is what it is. Find the divine in it and find the lesson in it, because we're always being taught something. It's just a matter of if you can open your eyes to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, what was a situation, if you can recall, Ariana, that you didn't know you were going to make it through? Like a situation that was really challenging for you, that you didn't know how you were going to make it. You didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you just kept moving. And it was only later on that you looked back and you were able to see the divine in that situation.
I would say when everything fell apart for me, because I feel like you look at any successful person, they went through some shit. Now that's how you gain knowledge, and you have to go through those experiences to find your worth, to find your love again. And the universe is only going to keep presenting you the same situations and the same outcomes until you learn that lesson, until you choose to love yourself. So I could say for me, when I truly felt as if I lost everything, I got kicked out, I lost friends, I was going through a very harsh breakup, trying to get through that. I had struggled with depression most of my high school years, so I had no really like feel for a purpose in life. I had no sense of even knowing myself. I had to really start from scratch. I felt like I wasn't being told to go somewhere every single day at a certain time, eating something at a certain time. Like, it really was, now this is me. So I like to consider, when you get out of high school, you really are zero. You are 1 year old. You're stepping into, which I guess you could say, the real world, because you're no longer getting programmed by the school system and what to believe. So, and I feel like that bottom, everyone does hit around that age, because I feel like it's a natural thing to occur for someone to feel like they want to go through to a sense of death, like that deep depression, because of the transformative years that you're going through, and just realizing like it's a huge transition to go from a kid to an adult. So in the middle of that, trying to navigate all of that, it is very hard on the individual being. And a lot of kids really don't have the guidance. A lot of kids go through toxic households, and they might find themselves going through situations at that time, bullying in school. Like, there really is so much going on at one time. I feel like every single every single kid is going through that feeling and that transformation and that deep depression. And that's why I believe some people out of high school, you might see some people sprout, because they're like, okay, they utilize that time on their own to get to know themselves and get to know, like, well, how do I perceive life? Do I really believe this? Is this something someone else told me to believe and I ran with it? Like, what are my true beliefs? Or they could take the route of going along to get along. And honestly, I know a lot of people are just seeing, like, we're not supposed to work our whole lives. Like, there's so much more to life than making somebody else rich, than not using our own gifts and our own passion, because we all have our own gifts and our own passion to use and utilize. But like I said, when you're going through years of programming, all this trauma like just dumped onto you, it's hard to find that light. It's hard to find that being within you. So some people just, they can't get well, everyone can, but they feel as if they can't get past that push, and they just go along to get along. And this is why you might see some people go to jail. You might see some people go homeless. You might just see some people just work a job the rest of their life that's miserable. They really don't want to do. We all go different directions. We're all going to the same place, but we all take different paths.
Right. Thank you. That's so true. You know, we're taking different paths, but we end up the same. You know, we're all the same. So when you were in that dark period, that darkness, you know, of just not knowing what lay next for you, you know, not really seeing, you know, where this was leading, and not really having anybody, just that support system. Like you had to hold yourself up, you had to support yourself. What was one thing that you held on to that got you through that dark period?
Honestly, love.
Love.
Even if I didn't have as much love for myself as I do now, I've always had the biggest heart. I've always had the biggest heart. So I would say love. I've always been able to find love and transmute it. Even in dark, people hear dark and they get scared. That's negative. You can't have dark without light. We all come from the dark. Dark is just as important as the light, because dark presents you with what you can shed light on. And if you always run from the dark, you're going to live your whole life running, because constantly you're going to get presented with situations to upgrade you. So you can either let it upgrade you, you can transmute and take that dark and not even perceive it as dark, just perceive it as a lesson being learned and make light out of it, apply the lessons learned and let it upgrade your soul. Or you can sink in it, and you can continue to sink in it until you choose to find a light in the dark.
Wow. But we always have the choice, you know. It's perspective.
That's the beautiful thing, though. We have the choice. We have the the present moment every single day. It's called the present for a reason. It's a gift. At any point in time, we have free will. That is our superpower. We are the super villains. We have free will. We can think our way and do our way into doing anything in life. If you wanted to up and leave and move across the country right now and become a painter, you could. If you wanted to stay in your hometown and start a school, you could. Like, we have the free will to do anything and everything. So it's a matter of realizing I have all the power. I decide this goes my way. I'm not dragging through life. I'm creating.
Yeah. It's a decision. It's a decision. I love that. I love that. So it's like you're not relying on circumstances. You create your opportunity.
You can't let the external world affect how you feel internally. You can't. Life will always drag you by your hair if you let what you see with these eyes control how you feel internally.
Mhm. Mhm. I agree. You know, when it came to not relying on, you know, other people, especially when it comes to creating your own sources of income, creating your income streams, you know, allowing that water to flow to you instead of feeling like you're having to strive and constantly work, you know, hard
Mm-hmm.
for it. I know you're into entrepreneurship. When did you, were you always on that wavelength of entrepreneurship, or did you have to shift from like that 9 to 5, this set hours, I get my paycheck to paycheck, towards now sustaining
So
yourself?
I actually did end up, I had to provide for myself at a very young age and grow up a little faster than most people did. So I did find myself working 2 jobs, no days off, like hustling. And I was making money, but my peace wasn't there. So when I got intentional and really sat down with myself and realized I'm not where I want to be, this is not who I want to be, and I'm not experiencing what I should experience, I decided to cut everything off. I stopped smoking. I changed my diet. I started working out. I cut off all social media. I quit both jobs. I started changing my habits. I started reading. I started meditating. I literally just went ghost and cut it all out and realized, wow, wow. And in that moment, after quitting those jobs, I realized that I can't work a job. I can't, because a job is never going to pay you what you're truly worth. they're going to pay you what they think that you are worth. And as us all having gifts within, we all have something to give to the world. So there's no need to work a job. And I realized I took a lot of time off just traveling and traveling and traveling, and even just seeing how different other countries are and how they're living and what they do for work. I just realized that I have way too many gifts and I have way too much knowledge and wisdom to not share with others. I have way too much love. I know I came down here at this time to assist beings on their ascension journey, because we are going through, it's already started, but people will see we are going through a pivotal switch in history right now. These next few years, people are really going to see like, wow. And this is why specifically right now, I am really creating things to help guide people and have a lot coming, because this is the time people do truly need it. And I don't believe that, like I said, we're all one. Everyone is me. I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody be able to love their life and love themselves like this. So it's only right that we do help each other, that we do use our gifts to help each other.
Yeah. Yes, I'm agreeing, like with everything, everything that you said is 100, 100% on point, it's on target. I love that you said, I have way too much not to share, you know, I have way too much not to share this with others. Like it's flowing in abundance, it's growing in abundance. It's like, I have to.
And the best way to really actually learn is through teaching. That helps your brain, literally. It helps your brain by teaching. So you even just teaching and getting that, for one, you're hardwiring that knowledge in your brain better, but you are also opening up the door for new information to come into your field.
Yes, absolutely. They say when you learn it once, but when you teach it, you learn it twice. They do say that. Yeah, you learn it twice when you teach it. So, oh my goodness, Ariana, when you were listing off the things that you let go, the things that you relinquished, released, and surrendered out of your life, you said cannabis was one, right? Cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
You said another was social media. You
Uh,
said like different toxic things, like different things that just they were no longer in your resonance. What was the most challenging thing for you to let go? Like what was the hardest thing for you to release?
in a way, I honestly want to say working in social media. I say it was very hard for me to let go of working, because I was a server. So I was very addicted to the fast money, and I was stacking it up very quick. And like I said, coming out of high school and having that freedom with that money, now I can buy the things I wanted when I was a kid I didn't get to have. Now I really can do whatever I want. Or I could buy myself a car. I could leave. Like, all that going through your mind, you're chasing the money, because I thought at that time, I believed that the money was making me happy and the money was giving me freedom, not aware that it's really myself that makes me happy and decides to be free. At the core, we're already free. It's a choice. Like I said, it's you have to let go of the beliefs inside of you that believe you're not free, that believe you're not happy, that believe you're not abundant, because abundant doesn't just mean money. Abundance is food, abundance is family, abundance is love, abundance is Mother Gaia. Abundance surrounds us everywhere. So for me, after working for so many hours, no days off, it was really hard for me to lose that attachment to money. And I had a good amount saved up for me, but it was just the addiction to working, to feeling productive, to just getting it in my hand. And for social media, I was in shock of how addicted I was to social media. You don't realize how many times a day you pick up your phone and you're just scrolling. You could get on for one thing and next thing you know, you're scrolling for 30 minutes. And our brain, the dopamine that we get from social media is instant. It's overwhelming and we don't have to do anything for it. It makes us lazy. We're just getting that instant dopamine. So for me, disconnecting from the world of social media, that illusion, and I sat back and was like, I feel like I have 4 more hours to my day. Literally. I became aware of how much time I just was scrolling. And I was like, wow, this is controlling. And not even just that, back to the energy. We're exchanging energy right now through this live. Every time you scroll on Instagram, all these things, you're absorbing that energy. So just imagine how many stories you scroll through, how many different topics, colors, pop outs you see. Your brain remembers all this. So when you put that phone down, your brain is going like this. It just experienced so many different things at one time, and we're unaware of it until you really take a break off social media and live in this world, in your world. You don't even realize how much is controlling and like really determining your thoughts, controlling your mind. It's a bunch of fear mongering stuff on social media. It's so easy to see something and then get off your phone and be like, oh no, oh no, the world's ending, or oh, this is poisoning. Like, it's just so easy to get caught up in so much fear mongering.
Hmm. Yeah, no, this is important because what you're saying is like it is mind blowing when you step back and you actually realize it, what is going on. I like how you said, Ariana, you said the scrolling is controlling, because you it was actually it was scary to me too. Like it was frightening to put my phone in my pocket, right? And then in that split second window, when I wasn't doing something immediately, all of a sudden my phone was back in my hand. And I was like, wait, what happened? Like I was already back. I was logged in. I logged out. And then before I knew it, I was logged back in. I was like, wait, what? Like in that, it was only meditation that got me to that level of awareness that showed me that
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in control. It was like, how did I'm back here again. Why am I on this?
It's still a
And like,
constant practice, I believe, too. Even us utilizing it, we're not. I changed my social media from being a consumer to being a creator. That's the mindset I changed and the switch I had when I decided to get back on social media again. But even being a creator, you still got to step into all these energies and you still got to step through this. So you really have to build a healthy relationship with your phone and know when to turn it off and when to take it away from you. Because if you're on your phone more than you're meditating, that should just tell you something right there. You're spending more time on this portal. You're spending more time in this portal of illusions rather than with yourself in your home.
the sacred portal, the sacred portal. I hear you talking about the sacred portals. So, what you're saying is it's really big. It's major to realize and have these, recognitions of, I can imagine that back in the day, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that all of this is a new invention. This is a new invention. So it wasn't that long ago where it was common, for somebody to just be at home with just a few books and, that's it, So to have all of this level of stimulation, it's a question of, has the mind or has the human brain actually adapted to handle this amount of stimulation? Or are we fooling ourselves thinking that, we're multitasking, we're doing all.
Literally, literally.
So it stopped the flow of energy. So it is a question of like, wow, have we really adapted to have this level of stimulation? Or, do we really need to be careful about all of this stuff, Yeah. Yeah.
It is unfortunate too because you could be in a room full of people. You could be in a room full of your family members and no one's interacting. You guys
Right.
might be sitting next to each other, but you guys are just scrolling your own world.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it when you ride the train or when you ride a bus or, when you're in public places, you're at the airport or in different spaces, you see everybody's head down, and that's kind of leading to spinal,
It is,
stuff like,
and that's the jade pillow.
right.
That's where that energy flows up to the crown. So that is a very crucial place. It is. I believe everything happens for a reason, and they knew exactly what they were doing when they caused us to look down on the phones like that.
Wow. So can you touch on that real quick for anybody who's never heard of the jade pillow and doesn't know about that energy, you know, that alignment? Can you touch on that?
I would say, I mean, just a brief overview. We have energy centers within our temple, within our bodies, that through the years with trauma and blockages and negative thoughts and poor eating habits, all these things cause blockages in our energy centers. And in order for us to activate as our highest avatar, as our highest beings of ourselves, you have to clean up that temple. You have to get those energy center flow, energy centers flowing. And so your crown chakra, or actually this one, the top, is the kundalini energy rising. It's going up like the serpent. So right here, it is very crucial because that is connected to the crown. So, and as well as I call it your first eye, which helps you really be able to see and move in an efficient way in this room. So,
Okay.
having that, like, it makes it up. Think about like a pipe. If a pipe is bent, it's going to be a lot harder for the water to flow through it. Mm-hmm. But if it's in alignment as it is supposed to be, it's going to be a lot easier for that water to just flow through.
Right, right. And they always talk about how much percentage of us were made of water. You know, we have so much water, you know, within us. So it's interesting. So you're saying when we're always looking down, we're not connecting with the crown. Mm-hmm.
And as us being water as well, you got to think about it. Think about how sound affects water, sound healing, sound bowls. Us being water, sound affects us the same way. If you talk to you can program water before you drink it. You can speak love into it. You can speak energy into it. And there's scientific facts behind that to see the change that you can go study after this live. So if you think about it like that, wow, I'm water. So I can literally speak to myself and program myself. I can use sound as an efficient way to heal myself, to help me get this energy flowing in a healthy way, to bring peace of mind to myself.
Yeah.
Everything is connected. Everything is connected.
It is. It's all interwoven, you know, it's like a web. It's all connected. So when did you start incorporating, or what did you start incorporating when it came to sound healing, when it came to affirmations or the recitation of that vibration? What did you start doing to change your water within?
I would say, like in the beginning of my journey, when I learned about the brain, I was like, okay, I have to rewire my brain. And I look at our brain as a computer, and you can program it any way that you want to. So I took a second to sit back and think, all the things that I memorized currently, it took me repetition, years of somebody telling me this. So I thought about it and was like, I am my own teacher. And if I could have my mind programmed for that long in those certain ways, damn right I can do it to myself. I can program myself to think and be a certain way. So as soon as I learned about the brain and the power of the brain, I started speaking to myself with so much love and light and affirming to myself who I truly desire to be. And it's not even about the desire, because I already was that within. It was just a matter of letting go of this part of my being that thought that I wasn't. So I would look in the mirror every single day, and I would say those affirmations. I would write them 7 times with my right hand, 7 times with my left hand. I would really get those affirmations as my new language. And sound healing, I was very hurt when I found out what the music was doing to me, because music has been a very big part of my life, my whole life. I've always felt like I used music as healing in a way. And when I found out that the music I was listening to was actually causing me destruction, because those are mantras being repeated and memorized in your mind. Music is programming your mind. So once I realized that the music was also harming me, I was like, well, wow, what now? And at the time, it took me a little time to find some more better artists that were a little more speaking positive and just higher vibrational. So I took a step back from music and I was like, you know what? I got myself interested in sound bowls and even the flute. I would just go on YouTube and I would just search up sound bowl healing. I would search up flute music. I would just search up light language, singing, all these different things. And I was like, this just makes my soul feel so much better than the music ever did. And along the journey, I have found amazing artists that I have learned to love, but I just learned that we are energy and vibration at the core, and sound is vibration. So really making sure that you're listening to vibrations that can add to your vibration is so important and so crucial. They've used sound healings for ages. So even just taking a step back and looking at how my ancestors were handling things, I just want to tap in with them more, whatever they were doing, because they seem to be a lot more knowledgeable than we are currently.
Yeah. Wow. So the sound healing, it goes beyond ancestral healing, you know? It's an like, it's ancient. We've been doing it for years and years and years and years. So it's amazing, you know, to really utilize that to really, you know, alchemize and to transform this energy. And when you were looking at yourself doing the mirror work, you know, mirror gazing, gazing at yourself, looking at Ariana in the mirror and speaking those loving words of affirmation to yourself,
Mhm.
you know, what were some of the affirmations, if you could share with us? Was it in the present tense, or like how did you word your affirmations?
So back to the energy centers, you can say affirmation linked to your energy centers to work with each chakra. So your root chakra being I am, because your root chakra has everything to do with feeling grounded and feeling safe, feeling connected. So my favorite affirmation for the root chakra was I am that I am and that is enough. You could do heart chakra, I love myself and everything about me. If you have insecurities, put your insecurity in that. I love, and then say your insecurity. Or your third eye, you can say I see past the illusions, or I see the bigger picture. I feel amazing. I am infinite. I am an infinite being with infinite knowledge. Like, I would say your affirmations truly do start to change as you start to change, because just with learning, you're not going to learn the same thing every single day. Once you've learned it, once you've mastered it, it brings you to a new interest, it brings you to a new thing. So I would say once you start to work with your chakras more and you do start to feel more grounded and you do just obtain more knowledge, your affirmations are going to get deeper. um so my affirmations have constantly changed, but my favorite when I began was I am who I am, and that is enough. Because truth be told, we do have all the answers within us, and we are a fraction of source. So that being said, if you think you're not enough, that's kind of like saying you think source isn't enough, you think God isn't enough, and I don't think anybody would ever say that. So being able to realize that you really are that reflection, you are enough. You have everything within you that you will ever need.
Mm. You're already enough. You're
We're made
already.
of perfection. We are perfect.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. You know, that's a wonderful thing for somebody to hear, and also a wonderful thing for somebody to speak, you know, to tell themselves like you are enough. It's very healing, especially when you do this stuff in the mirror and you're looking at yourself. You know, people start crying. People start shedding tears. They start releasing emotion. Stuff starts coming out because they've never spoken to themselves in that loving way, you know. It's like it amazing. It's almost like reparenting yourself. If you might not have heard that word, you know, or heard those loving words when you were younger from anybody when you were coming up, and you speak it to yourself, you know, it's very powerful.
It's also
Very.
learning about loving what you see in the mirror, because I know a lot of people, they don't love their temples, they don't love their hair, or and a lot of programming goes into that as well. We get, especially I know as women, like we get programmed to think that we need nails, we need eyelashes, we need makeup, we need fake hair because our natural hair isn't pretty. We need all these things to make us pretty, even changing our body. There's so many women who feel like they're not good enough or pretty enough because they don't have a BBL. And that does a lot to a woman's programming. So most women look at themselves in the mirror and they truly don't like what they see naturally. And it goes as deep as even down to the body hair. They look at themselves with disgust, looking at things that grow naturally. And your hair is there to protect you for a reason. So most women and men look in the mirror and they don't like what they see because of the expectations that society has set up through social media, through the celebrities, through all these illusions.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very deep. Like you say, it runs so deep, and you can see it. What was up?
It really does go deep. Like it's very deep. It's just a matter of like, it's like a book.
Yeah.
The more you learn, it's like the next page is like,
Yeah.
wow, wow. And then I know for me personally, once I stopped adding things to myself like makeup and all these, like stop shaving my body hair and all these things, I realized like, wow, I really do love my natural self more. Like I never realized how much I truly didn't and wasn't loving myself. It wasn't till I got eyelashes, like I felt like the baddest girl in the world. It was a point in time where I wouldn't even post on social media if my eyelashes weren't done. And it just made me realize like, wow, I've been beautiful this whole time and couldn't see it because of all the illusions. I was already perfect, I was already beautiful. And it's crazy because once I did stop doing all these things, I would even get more compliments as my natural state, and the people as well that I would attract. So it does run very deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many places that we can go. I want to ask you because how much time do you have if you want to do a round two or if you want to keep going?
I
Let me
mean,
ask.
we can keep going. I'll probably keep
Okay.
going. We're having a great
Awesome.
conversation. I love it.
Awesome. Same here. Same here. So, as well, when it comes to, I've seen like the filters, like you were talking about social media. Social media has a lot of filters, and you see different options for people to change the way they look. And you see somebody saying, "Oh, I like this one," or "I like that one," and it's like, like the ones that even make you look animated and alter the actual way that your face looks. And so I've seen that some people will only be comfortable if they look a certain way or if they have a certain thing on, when it comes to showing themselves, when it comes to displaying who they are. But I like how you said when you were in your natural state, you received so many compliments. You received so many people that were like, we love you the way you are. Like, you're beautiful the way you are,
My
you
family
know?
was thanking me. They were like, "Thank goodness, like you're finally back again." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy."
Yeah. Yeah. That is amazing. So when you said earlier, with your partnership with Kijan, you were talking about there were certain healing wounds, like wounds that partners help each other heal. So what was one of the things that you said that sometimes you trigger each other to heal each other or to help each other heal from something? What did he help you with in that way?
Okay, so I know my childhood, I was constantly in a state of fight or flight, in a sense of survival mode, always in fear. So my natural response to things throughout time have just automatically been to protect myself, to put that wall up. And I've realized like I've done my own healing and became aware of that, and I thought I did a great job at it, but it wasn't until I got in a relationship and I realized like, wow, why am I snapping back like this? Like, why is this attitude coming out? Like, I don't have to defend myself. I'm safe here. Like, there's nothing to really run from. There's nothing to worry about. So I would say it just brought out that trigger in me, like learning how to really, when things go bad, it doesn't have to be so bad. Just because something goes bad doesn't mean it's going to be a domino effect. With us, it's like, okay, we can become aware of the bad and we can sit down and ask ourselves, like I said, where is this coming from? Why do we feel this way? Why do we feel the need to respond in this way? And then becoming aware of it, talking about it, and then showing love to each other, because that's all that wound needs is love.
Okay. So showing it love, always coming back to love. It's like asking the questions, asking the question. And then, it sounds like no matter the question, love is usually the answer.
Yeah, because really what it is that you'll realize in a relationship is it's your inner child coming out.
Mm.
It's the parts of your inner child that didn't get that love, that wanted that love. So being able to recognize that and just connect with your inner child in that moment and affirm them, like, you are loved, you are safe, we are good now, we're not in that state anymore, like, we're allowed to just be our natural being. It's very beautiful. That's very beautiful in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It is. And was it important for you in those moments too, when you were asking yourself, like, why am I snapping? Like, why am I so spicy right now? Why I got this attitude right now? Why am I coming for his head right now? Was it was it important to give yourself that forgiveness or that compassion in the moment,
You have to realize, especially if you grow up in a toxic household. I mean, some kids make it at 18, but some are living there longer. So if you went through that many years of being in a state like that, of being around your parents, I mean, our parents did the best that they could with the awareness that they could. So you can't hold them accountable for anything. You can't, because they did the best that they could. So realizing that, why wouldn't you forgive yourself? We're not supposed to be in pain. We're not supposed to hold grudges. Like, the way I look at it, as my parents were hurting, so they hurt me. If they weren't hurting, it's not like your parents aren't intentionally trying to hurt you. We are all living our own individual lives. We're all in our own universe. So the way that your parents perceive the world and the programming they have gone through is the way they're going to raise you. And there's no right or wrong way to parenting, and I realized that. So having resentment towards your parents and not forgiving them, and then not forgiving yourself in that situation, it's really just only causing disharmony to yourself. All you wanted as a child was love. All they wanted as a child was love. So why can't we all just love and forgive together? Why can't we grow together? Holding grudges doesn't do anything for yourself. And stress is honestly one of the main causes to dis-ease within your temple. So forgiveness is key, because you'll come to realize that nothing is personal. Nothing is personal. And it is hard to accept that at first and really be able to apply that to your life, because there might be someone yelling at you saying very harmful things, but you have to just realize that has nothing to do with me, because everything is a reflection of the internal. Your world right now is a reflection of your past thoughts and your past beliefs and your current beliefs. So if that person is going through something, they're going to project that out into the world around them. You cannot take anything personal. And the way I look at it as well is, when I see somebody going through something or treating me a certain way, I'm going to give you love, because all I see is you asking for love. That's all anybody ever wants. Any hurt person, if you give them love, that's what they want. So if you could just take a step back and look at all the people that hurt you, look at your parents as beings going through their own human experience, trying to figure it out the same way you are, you will start to have a lot of compassion for them, and you will naturally forgive them, because you know within your own life, like, wow, this is a ride. You're going to experience some things in life that are crazy, and everyone has trauma. Everyone goes through these things, and we will continue to, because it's only for our soul's evolution. So when you can just look at everybody as another version of you, because that's what they are, it's just another version of you, then you can be able to give them that love. And one of my favorite stories is from Buddha. um, Somebody saw how unfazed Buddha was sitting there meditating, and they were very intrigued by that and very bothered. And they kept going up to Buddha, and they kept trying to like nag at him and yell at him and get his attention. And they were like, "Why aren't you upset? Why are you not getting hurt by what I'm saying?" And Buddha said, if you give me a gift and I don't take that gift, who does the gift belong to? And that's so true. That baggage belongs to them. It's not our job to pick up other people's baggages and make it our own. It's our job to just show them love and to help them throughout their journey, because we're all just supposed to help each other. There's no division. There really is no separation, and that's the illusion within itself. So looking at everyone for what it is as another you, you're automatically going to forgive. Not forgiving really isn't an option.
Wow. It's not even an option. Woo! Woo! so so one more time, Ariana, you said if you give me a gift
And
and
I don't take it, who does that gift belong to? It still belongs to you. Your traumas, your words, your negativity, it's all yours. I don't have to receive it, nor will I take it personal. It's a projection.
Wow. Wow. Wow, that is brilliant. Yeah, I think, in that book, The Four Agreements,
Mm-hmm.
that was the second one. Agreement number 2 was don't take things personally.
You can. You really can.
Yeah.
You're going to go your whole life suffering if you choose to take things personally.
Yeah. And I love how you said forgiveness is not even an option. Not an option. Wow.
I love too hard to forgive. I really do I see God and the divine in every single being around me, whether they're being very destructive and doing things that doesn't change my perceptions towards you. I still see you as myself, a reflection of me, and I see the divine in you. So I could never judge you. I could never not love you. Everyone is my sister. Everyone is my brother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So right before we go, if there's a few books, because I know you said you really got into reading, you got into just saturating your mind and just a hunger and a thirst for knowledge. What are a few books that you would recommend to people who, want to really change and reframe some things?
My top book, Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza.
Dr. Joe.
If you even just spend an hour researching Joe Dispenza, you're going to sit back and be like, yeah, I'm changing my life right now. Joe Dispenza, any book by Joe Dispenza, I will recommend to anybody. And just like you said, The Four Agreements, that's a very short, easy book that's a book you go back and reread many times throughout your life. So The Four Agreements, any book by Joe Dispenza, Atomic Habits, because our habits are creating our life. Our habits create this. So having good habits is the key to having a good life. So Atomic Habits especially helped me. I would say How to Prosper Through Hard Times and The Science of Getting Rich. It will really teach you that everything's energy. Money's nothing but energy. So it's nothing to really stress over, because if you can match that energy, you can attract it.
Yes. Yes. You match that energy, you can catch that energy. You can attract it, it's coming to you anyway.
And The Tao by
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say it. I don't want to say it wrong.
Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching? Okay.
That book right there.
Yeah.
That book right there.
Okay. I got it. Nice, nice. So I like that. Atomic Habits, James Clear. I know Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. And then the Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching, and anything by Dr. Joe.
And I know
you said anything
for any woman specifically watching this, Sacred Woman by Queen Afua. Sacred Woman by Queen Afua. That literally has a whole guidance and step-by-step journey for you to follow. It will take months for you to follow. That is a book that you really engage in. So any woman, I would say that book.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for these recommendations. Thank you for putting out your vibration. Thank you. This is a lot of information. It's a lot for people to munch on, but this is good food. Food for the soul. It's food for thought. Yeah. It's food for thought. So we need.
That's the really food we only need.
Right.
Honestly.
Right. So I'd love to do this again. I feel like
yes.
more that we could explore with this, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I love talking to you, and I look forward to talking soon.